It's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
When I was a kid, my dad had a '78 Ford four-wheel drive pickup truck, and I loved that truck. Many times he would take me out riding in the Mississippi River bottoms where I grew up. And occasionally after a rain, we would find a good back road that had several mud holes in it. He'd lock it in and we would sling mud. I had a ball, and I wish many times I could go back and do that again. You know, the writer of Romans in the Bible kind of gave us permission to get off-road and maybe sling some mud occasionally too. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, he says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That word conform means to take on a particular shape or to go a certain way or to look like. You know, the road that this world wants us to go down isn't necessarily a good road. Many times it tells us that we need to accept things or do things or just allow things to happen that go against God's word. So my challenge for you this week is this: pay attention to the road that you're traveling down in your life. You know, there may be times where you need to hit a back road. You need to lock it in and sling some mud yourself. Hey, thanks for watching this week. We pray that you're blessed. Always remember, keep shooting straight.
All right, guys, tonight's call-in segment's been sponsored by our friends at Taylor's Archery. Y'all can find them at 100 East Lauderdale Street over in Tullahoma, Tennessee, or give Tracy Taylor a call at 931-563-7706 and let him take care of all your archery needs, and be sure to thank him for all he does for those kids. All right, welcome back to the studio. If y'all want to give us a call tonight, you can now. It's 615-737-7767. And while we're waiting on a few calls, guys, let's just kind of kick it off. We've been, Terry, you and I in particular, over the last few weeks, we've been quite a few times fishing, and it's been like a roller coaster, you know, as far as where the fish have been and what they've been doing over these last few weeks. And that's what happens this time of year when you got 17 degrees one day, you got 75 3 days later, then you got 52, then, you know.
And 30 mile an hour wind.
Yeah, 30 mile an hour winds all the time. But what do you think is really the key right now to staying on these fish? You being especially, you know, more so a bank fisherman most of the time, you still, you know, what do you think people need to be doing right now to try to find them when you're in this transition time like that?
No, well, I think like when you're going to the spots that you know that you're going to catch fish and you're not catching them, then like I say, you always will move around, plus you'll always adjust your depth. But a lot of times when that temperature drops down cold, then they'll move back to the mouths of those creeks, or they'll move back to deep to right there at the edge of the channel, and then they'll come up as it warms up just a little bit, but they always run back. So checking your depths is probably going to be the key. And yeah, that's pretty much, I would say.
Depth is probably the most important part, really. Sometimes, I mean, and it's a lot like being in a boat, like we explained earlier, in the fact that we'll go to a particular creek. You know, like Terry says, you got the mouth of the creek, it's going to be a little deeper. We know where the channel is, come back into the pockets or something. And a lot of times we'll start more shallow. But if that's not working out, you know, you just keep moving. Like Terry said, it's a good way of putting it. Just keep moving to the left.
Just keep moving
to the left. And you're just going to keep searching that bank until you find what you're looking for. And this afternoon we had to look around a little bit. You guys went on around and we had to work around till we found them, just like we would have on a boat. But also, again, with crappie fishing, Terry, 6 inches. If I'm throwing and I've got 6 inches, let's say less leader than you do, I might catch 5 fish to 1. Just by simply being 6 inches higher in the water column with my jig than you are.
Yeah.
I mean, crappie in particular can be really finicky with the bite. Sometimes you might change from a natural cricket to a chartreuse, and I mean, you know, first cast. So.
And that depth can happen just on a stake mat too. A lot of times, you know, you'll catch fish on top of a stake mat, and your buddy is fishing 1.5 foot down in it. nothing.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to adjust.
And when that water is real cold, you're not gonna get as an active bite as when the water's a lot warmer. So a lot of times, instead of feeling for the bite, you're gonna have to watch the line. A lot of times you'll just get a twitch and he's already lipped that bait.
Yeah.
Where then you won't even pay attention to it. But when that line twitches, a lot of times he's already there.
Yeah, and it's time to lift up on him, because if you don't, he's gonna be gone.
He's gone,
He's
yeah.
gonna be gone.
Yep.
Today. We got a call coming in here. Let's go ahead and get our first one. Dee, how are you doing tonight?
Just fine, sir.
We appreciate you calling. Thank you very much for watching. How can we help you tonight?
Where were y'all fishing off the bank?
That was off the Cumberland River. Is where we were at there. That was a side pocket off the Cumberland River.
Okay, like near Dixon or?
Well, we won't tell too close to where we are, honestly, for the main reason of it's a community hole. I don't want to mess it up for everybody that goes down there. Like you saw in the videos, there's other people that go there a lot. But it is right around Middle Tennessee, and there's lots of situations that are very similar to that, where you're looking for an arm or a creek that'll have a deeper mouth and work its way back.
If there was a sign or anything.
Yeah. Well, you know, every once in a while, if you look around, you might find a clue somewhere. You know, we might not cover all our bases, but again, we try to be fair. Not because they're spots that we know of, but because we don't want to run it for people that they've been fishing there for years and years. So. Yeah.
I can give you this though. Most of the creeks that run off the river, they're gonna hold
Yeah.
a lot of crappie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when that water gets swift and rough, they're gonna run to a place where the water's a lot calmer.
Creek.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
And the one good creek that's close to Ashland City, Sycamore Creek. You like that?
Right.
That's a good one right there.
And over near Kingston Springs and up in Jackson County, you got Jennings Creek.
That's for sure.
So you know,
where it is.
I'm pleading the fifth.
We blindfolded.
Yeah, I don't even know where we were.
You don't know where we were.
It was water and a bank and some brush. I can tell you that much.
It was. It was. Well, thank you so much for calling tonight. Like I say, find one of those creeks and you will find those fish. Just find a creek somewhere 6 to 8 foot of water and you should find
Got to
some.
get a car.
Yeah.
Everything's flat walking distance right now.
Yeah. Well,
Y'all have a good night. Really enjoy the show.
good luck to you. Have a good night.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Melvin, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. What about yourself?
Doing great. We appreciate you calling. How can we help you tonight?
Well, yes, I'm a walleye fisherman. My fish that I like to catch is a walleye,
Yeah.
and I catch them up around the dam, Old Hickory Dam. Was the record walleye caught here in Tennessee?
It was. I'm not. Do you know the body of water, Mike? Because I don't want to tell you wrong. I think I know, but I'm not sure.
Somebody told us last week when we were talking about that, and I forgot. We'll
We'll try to find out in the commercial break. Yes, it was. I don't remember the body of water that was on. And maybe somebody can chime in here in a minute and call and confirm with me where it was. But it was. And I enjoy walleye fish as well. I like to sauger fish and walleye fish boat. Cordell Hole is a great area to do that. Rock Island is a great area to do that. And they eat really good, don't they?
Well, I tell you, it's the best tasting fish I've ever eaten.
They're delicious. It's almost just a sweet, like a little bit thicker crappie, and it's a sweet meat. I know you've eaten some sauger, hadn't you?
I have not.
You haven't eaten sauger.
I've had sauger, walleye, and sauger.
Yeah, and all the above are delicious in a skillet. You got it, Mike?
I Googled just a moment ago, and I'm showing 25 pounds as a record for walleye in Tennessee, and it shows it coming off Old Hickory Reservoir.
Old Hickory Reservoir. There you go.
Okay. All right,
So,
thank you.
You in the right place, man. Good luck to you. Send us some
Absolutely.
pictures.
All right, then.
Have a good night.
All right, you the same.
Yeah, guys, I tell you, we do a lot of crappie fishing, and we eat a lot of crappie. Now, we just keep usually a portion of what we catch, to be honest, because I don't usually freeze them. Most of the time, crappie go from, the cutting board to the refrigerator for a night to soak to the frying pan.
As I call the RTE that was in that first segment, ready to eat.
It is. But now, what Melvin was talking about there, sauger, walleye, delicious.
It's a
delicious
sweet
food.
fish and very
It is.
meaty fish. It's I don't know. Again, bring up Dayton Blair. That's Dayton. Dayton loves those sauger.
Yeah, Dayton gets after sauger pretty hard in,
Yeah, he
in the
does.
wintertime, and he's able to get a bunch of them there in that period. But you can catch them year round. It's like anything else. They have to eat. You just have to figure out where they're at. And a lot of times we catch sauger at night. When you get into the summer months, we'll catch them at night in little areas, pinch points and things like that, bridges or rock points coming around.
And if you can stay with it, the cold water crappie in the winter, I think tastes better than the summertime crappie.
I've heard that for years. I guess because we do typically catch more this time of year. Most of them are out of colder water anyway. But I have heard for years. If there's any truth to that, Terry, you think a colder water fish, you don't care what kind of what.
When I'm hungry, I'm eating.
If it's fish, we're gonna eat
You
it.
been, well, how's Dude been doing? How's our buddy Dude been doing?
Dude's doing good. I mean, for his dude's 30 and 30. He's just, he's on it.
And he's gonna get that limit.
He's gonna
We're
get the
talking
limit.
about Dude Maddox. Dude's been on the show with us several times, and we need to get another show with him soon. I need to get him lined up with Richard again to get Dude and Roy together and have another episode of
old
Dude
man.
and Roy, the grumpy old man. That's right.
And they teach Richard how to catch some good fish
They
too.
did. They let Richard catch a couple
They did.
pretty good ones last year, but they're always a big time to have on the boat. But Dude is a crappie fisherman
He is a
by
crappie.
trade, so to
And
speak.
he's a
That's
good-
what
He
he
is
is.
a crappie limit fisherman.
Yes,
When
he
he
is.
goes, you stay all day.
And he's a good teacher too. And he'll
Yeah.
tell you right quick, I brought you to participate, not to spectate.
And you better pack a lunch. 'Cause
Oh, you're gonna
You're gonna
be
be
out
there.
here all
if
day.
it takes you till 2 or 3 o'clock to get a limit, you're gonna be there at 2 or 3 o'clock.
That's right.
But that's the kind of guy that we like to promote and like to see because he, like you said, he's a teacher.
Yes,
he
he is a
teaches you how to
teacher.
catch
Dude is a
fish.
teacher, and just through the videos he's done with us, him and Roy both have taught a lot, with what they've shown us so far. So we need to get that together and get that going.
They'll say something in general conversation and you go, I never knew that, and it's just all half of them.
That's right. That's right. This guy's with him all the time. He knows they fish together a lot. But guys, I'll tell you what, let's go on over and do this week's tip of the week. All right, this week's tip of the week's been sponsored by our friends at the Tennessee Outdoor Rendezvous and Deer Expo. That's coming up in May. It's going to be the 21st and 22nd over at the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Wilson County, Tennessee. Y'all can call our buddy Wes Stone at 615-444-8200. He can get you all the info you need. You can also go to tndeerexpo.com. And if you might possibly want to be a vendor, there are still some booth space available. Get with Wes and he'll get you set up. All right, Terry, what do you got for us for tip of the week?
Tip of the week, I'm a 4-pound man. I love 4-pound fishing test line, but when the summer months come, I like to bump it up to 6-pound test line because you're going to run into one of those pigs, and a lot of times he's going to be in thick cover, and you're going to need something to where you can get him out of there. 4-pound test line is good, but it takes just
Might
one
leave you
little
crying
nip.
all the way back to the house.
All the way. And always tip that minnow or tip that jig with a crappie bit. It's gonna, when those fish are very finicky, it's gonna give them an incentive. It's gonna give them a little bit more, and it also help keep that minnow on for those that fish with minnows.
It does. Makes a big difference.
Yes, dude doesn't allow
Dude will
minnows
not
in
allow
his
minnow.
boat. No minnows in his
That's
boat.
Well, guys, we'll get ready to take another quick break. We'll be right back with some more Southern Woods and Waters.